overrated anyway. Yes.
Welcome back, everybody, to Brown Bag Bets, powered by BETSPERTS. We are your daily dose of quick hit handicapping and sports betting picks. I'm Alex Christenson, and joining me, as always, Mr. Andy Molitor. But as we know, folks, it's the end of the week, so it's time for another fantastic football Fallica Friday here. Joining us again every Friday to get us prepared for college football, because Andy and I need a lot of help, if we're being honest. How's it going, Chris? Where in the world are you this week?
We're down in Oxford, Mississippi, getting ready for Texas A&M Ole Miss. First trip to Ole Miss in 7 years. First time we were here was awesome. Back in 2014, it was a great start to the day with our show and Katy Perry with a legendary guest picker segment, and then capped off, of course, by a big upset for the Rebels over Alabama. So hopefully tomorrow will be just as fun and entertaining a show.
I can see her shirt like that wild fluffy shirt you were like. I remember that. I can't believe it was that long ago. And a few guest pickers stick out in your head, and that one was definitely one of them.
Correct. Yeah, no,
I can dig it. And Andy, by the way, did you know that? I was going to say, Andy, have you ever heard of Oxford, Mississippi?
I've heard of Oxford. Strictly, like, there's a lot of these cities where I'm sure a bunch of people would have never heard of if it weren't for college football. Like, Oxford among
You're absolutely right.
Boone, North Carolina for sure. Looks like we wanted to head out west right away, though. Washington State, Oregon. I'm not even up to date on some of this. I think we'll leave college football playoff drama rankings alone. It's still so early. Oregon is ranked.
Yeah, nothing really matters. Everything kind of plays out the way Michigan State is the biggest thing, but Michigan State wins out, they're fine. But yeah, the Oregon Wazoo game is one that I have my eyes set on this week. I think it's a really tricky spot for the Ducks. Didn't play well at a big win at Washington, one of their bigger rivals of the year. Anthony Brown struggled. They did enough to win. Next week is the game they absolutely have to have in Salt Lake, where they might even be a small dog in Salt Lake if they were close to being if they were an underdog at UCLA. So give Wazoo credit too, man. Ever since the Nick Rolovic situation played out, the team has been prepared and played hard every week. The coaches that stuck with the team basically have prepped them every week. I love the way Wazoo has played over the last couple of weeks, and I think 14 points here for a team that has owned the ATS numbers in this series over the last 10 years or so are too many. I think it'll be a lot like many of Oregon's games this year. Closer game, they will win, but I wouldn't be laying 14 points here.
And you want to give Rolovic credit that's due to coaching them up, but you got to give the kids some credit too. Like, they're just playing well. This team.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The kids are playing well. Rolovic is gone. Yeah, Rolovic is gone, and the coaches that got the vaccine and the staff and the players and the coaches that stepped up, they game plan well and play well. But I'm glad to see that the situation didn't dishearten the players, and the players I think almost kind of are rallying around each other, playing for each other. So yeah, you're right, Andy. I'm happy with them.
Yeah, kind of a real quick before we. I just said I didn't want to get into playoff drama, but now you got me. You got me thinking about next week, because Ohio State and Oregon are right up there in the mix of things, but Ohio State lost to Oregon. Like, next week, if Oregon loses, does it help or hurt the Buckeyes more?
It probably helps them because
it probably helps them because that loss was so long ago.
Yeah, and I think producer Dan was throwing out an idea too about the Michigan State deal and saying maybe it's a trial balloon for eventually moving Ohio State over Oregon despite the head-to-head. So I'm curious to see. I guess the push comes to shove, I don't think many people out there think Oregon can beat Utah twice, beat Wazoo, and win the Civil War as well. So I think that's more of the thing why people are questioning Oregon. So we'll see.
You get the look-ahead lowered ranking. That makes sense. And I also wonder if part of the reason you're getting a little value on Wazoo here is because people think Oregon's going to be mad about the college football playoff rankings or something like that. So you got an extra couple points shaded that way. Now, another game, and is Oklahoma, did they make it in there? I honestly have no idea. It shows you how kind of lost Andy and I are here. The Big 12 battle this week, Oklahoma's laying 6 points visiting Baylor. What are you thinking?
I like OU here. I saw some 5.5s out there as well, and obviously if you can get 5.5, that's better. I have the utmost respect for Caleb Williams and what he brings to that team, both on the offensive side of the ball and the defensive side of the ball. There hasn't been a player in the country that has had a bigger impact on the success of his team than Williams. He is the belief in him in that locker room from players both on offense and defense is through the roof. I think you look at the last time OU played, it was their most complete game of the year. I think that Lincoln Riley can draw upon the players that were on the team a couple of years ago, as well as the ones that were not, that they nearly lost. It took a miracle, unbelievable performance by Jalen Hurts to bring them back. I like OU here. I think they have the biggest upside of any team in the standings, and I think they are, despite where they are at 8, I think they do control their destiny to make the playoff.
Yeah, I think they're quite I just checked because I'm like, I know they're out, but I didn't remember quite how low they were. And again, to your point to start the show, they're not going to put playoffs together based on the rankings from November 9th. That's just not how they do it. They will tend to use the final ones. And like you just said, if you're an undefeated Power 5 conference champion, you probably got a pretty decent shot. So they absolutely do control their destiny. Gosh, ACC is kind of making me sad. I'm seeing this next one coming up. It's just weird. Like a
lot of Wake Forest football talk.
A Clemson fall off was something that was going to happen, but maybe not like that, I guess. And Wake Forest obviously doing what they're doing. Pitt teasing us with possible being good, but I know too many people from Pittsburgh in that area that are too fatalistic about their Pittsburgh Panthers to begin with. But yeah, Wake Forest laying 2.5. NC State, a Brinson game. This is our guy Will Brinson. Just he always talks us into betting the Wolfpack. It's probably gone pretty decent over the last couple of years. They had a nice season. What do you got here?
I'm gonna do my best Will Brinson here and try and talk you into taking the Wolfpack plus a 2.5. I think a lot of times when you're an undefeated team and you suffer that first loss, and we don't think Wake Forest is going to the playoff if they have been undefeated. But those kids in the locker room, it certainly stings that they finally lost a game. Their defense is terrible, and I don't know, even though North Carolina State does not have the most potent, high-octane offense in the country, I do think it's going to be hard for them to get stops against Leary and that team and be able to match NC State point for point, especially when you're looking at an NC State defense that probably is the second best defense in the league behind Clemson. So I'm going to take Brinson's Wolfpack there plus 2.5.
Yeah, I wonder what would have happened just based on like if Wake Forest would have run the table and won the ACC undefeated. I don't know. It still would have been like, maybe they're 5th or 6th in the playoffs, guys. Like,
exactly.
It's just not that good of a team. It's a really rough. God, we're gonna stick out there too. Louisville. A lot of Louisville talk last night with the our guy Lamar heading back to Southern Florida there for his homecoming, which didn't go so well.
Survivor done. I am no longer a survivor.
Yeah, they threw some. I mean, they just threw a bunch of defensive wrinkles at him. Ravens never figured it out, and it was kind of an ugly game until we got to the 4th with a little bit of fireworks. But yeah, Louisville laying 3 to Cuse, a total of 55 in this one, and this is in the Bluegrass State.
Yeah, it is, but I don't think it really matters. I like Syracuse plus the 3 here. The Orange have been an ATM machine this year, covering every game, and I think people probably get worried thinking that they're due to not cover. But Syracuse has the better defense. They've got the better running back in Sean Tucker, and the same people that were telling me last week that Phil Dracovic would be back on Tuesday for Boston College, telling me that Malik Cunningham is a good chance he may not play tomorrow. So I think if you can grab Syracuse plus the 3 right now, that's probably the way to go.
Oh, nice early game too. These are the ones I pay attention to
Yeah.
the most before I get too busy.
Yeah, I think Lamar's jersey's being retired too. By the way, so I'm sure
yeah, that's a
that hurdle,
That's a big angle.
hurdle up in the dome. Yeah, so they got that. You got that kryptonite working against me there.
that is a bummer that he had such a bad week too. Because I'm supposing they sat and looked at the schedule and said, where do we have a home game where Lamar has like a Thursday or a Monday game where we can get him out here on a Saturday? So they had this weekend probably picked out as soon as the NFL and college schedules came out,
Mm-hmm.
and of course Lamar has to come after a kind of a bad loss, honestly, the way they looked out there yesterday.
Really bad loss. No kinda about it. That was a brutal loss.
I had one more. Oh, I did have one thing. The Big Ten West standings. I pulled this up before last week,
Like where
and
you're headed.
I think Dan asked me or somebody asked me on air, well, who's leading the West right now? And I laughed because it was the Gophers somehow. And of course, they take any modicum of success and instantly piss it away. But at the Big Ten West, still, I mean, conference record: Minnesota, Purdue, Iowa, Wisconsin, all 4-2 right now. Do you have an inkling of who Ohio State or Michigan State gets in that championship game right now?
I think it'll be Wisconsin. I think the way the Badgers defense has played the last few weeks, and they have just stopped turning. It's amazing what happens when Graham Mertz stops turning the ball over. I mean, they can get back to throwing high percentage passes. They can get back to running the football. And it's a team that I think in the last 5 games has allowed a total of 3 touchdowns. So I think it ultimately will be Wisconsin that winds up playing Ohio State in the Big Ten championship game. Just like it's so funny because I had this conversation with someone earlier this week about how it looked like upheaval, crazy things happening. And in the end, we're probably going to get Oregon, Utah in the Pac-12, just like we kind of thought we were going to get. We're going to get Ohio State, Wisconsin, the Big Ten, just like we kind of thought as well. So, and we're going to get Oklahoma in the Big 12 championship game, despite all their struggles. So it looked like we might have some craziness, but it's certainly not as crazy as it was certainly expected to be.
And Chris, I can't let you get out of here without giving me your thoughts. Penn State, underdogs, hosting Michigan tomorrow. What's going to happen? I assume it's going to be a whiteout up there, which is generally good news for the Nittany Lions.
Yeah, it's an afternoon game though, so it'll be a daytime whiteout, which is certainly different. I like Penn State in this game. I think if you look at the way their defense has played lately, if the Penn State defense that showed up in Columbus a couple of weeks ago shows up tomorrow, I think Michigan's going to have a hard time scoring points and moving the ball. They're beat up in the running back. Corum and Edwards are both hurt. Anthony, the wide receiver, is beat up, so we're trying to find out if they're going to play or not. But this has been a house of horrors for Penn State, for Michigan, rather, as you know. The last couple of trips to State College, Michigan hasn't scored a point in the first quarter, and they've been outgained by like over 200 yards in those 2 games combined. So I don't know if they're down those guys in the backfield. I'm not sure McNamara in that passing game is going to be able to have a whole lot of success against that Penn State offense.
I love it.
Rather.
And then I would personally never ask. I would never be this presumptuous, but the chat is asking. Someone in the chat said odds on game day in Montana next weekend. There's a groundswell.
I'm hoping it's where I want to go. I mean, I will leave that dangling out there. It is in my support. It's got my support, and it's where I want to be. I always say, and I even go saying as long as going far back as Dan's been on the show, was on the show. Like anytime we go somewhere for the first time or the first time in a long time, I think those are our best shows and our most special shows. So, but I'm hoping it happens. It's either going to be there or it's either going to be Columbus. It's going to be one of those two. So we'll see. But just know that Missoula has my 100% vote, and I wish I could make the decision right now and say we're going to be there. But unfortunately, that goes way above my pay grade.
Yeah,
keep our fingers crossed.
Some things does, yeah. And
yes.
I'm assuming been to Columbus a few times. You know your at least.
I think probably about
you know your way around Columbus. Yeah.
Yes, we do. The thing you got going, the thing that Columbus has got going for it, it's a noon game where you can do a build up at the stadium with warm ups and stuff. So you got that. So I don't know. I think that pales in comparison to going out to a huge rivalry and a place that we've never been, that we could really Give it the North Dakota State treatment, the James Madison treatment, Harvard, all those great FCS and Division III rivalries that we've been to. Could do the same type of show. It would be awesome.
Oh, for sure. So, well, we appreciate the time. We wish you good luck on all your bets.
Thank you.
Enjoy your time in the South. It snowed here today. I woke up to
Did it?
little tiny bit of snow, just the tiniest, like dusting, enough to put me in a bad mood. So,
anytime you see it for the first time, I'm the same way in Connecticut. Anytime you look on the ground and you see, excuse me, anytime you see that frost or a little bit of, it's like, oh, here we go again. Here's 7 months of winter coming. Hey, one more. Speaking of weather, that just popped into my head. Like I'd consider taking Washington plus the points against ASU. Speaking of like bad weather, chilly, long trip for ASU on the road, favorite. And I think people might argue, or maybe even throw a case that the changes on the Washington coaching staff this week might actually be a help for the Huskies. Their defense is still pretty good, and I don't know, ASU on the road, no bueno. So if you can find a 6 with the Huskies, I might consider taking Washington too.
I'll have to look into that one. So, all right, Chris Fallica, the Bear, joins us every Friday. We thank him for his time, and again, wish you the best of luck. We'll catch you next week.
Best of luck to you guys as well. Talk soon.
See you, Chris.
Take care.
Love the Bear. That would be fun to see the Bear in Montana.
That's his natural habitat. I've been to Missoula. It's honestly the thing about Montana is it's like I don't know how to say this, not understate it. It's so big. Like I drove from Minnesota out to Seattle once. You're in Montana for like 3 days, it feels like. It just keeps going. Like we've barely moved on the map. We're like 1/10 of the way through Montana, but I'm sure he would fly. Either way, I'd be excited to see that as well. I don't have anything today. Golf is just kind of golfing. I think I have a couple. I did the 2 matchups. One of them is doing very well. The other one's doing a little poorly. So, but they were both underdogs. I would be more than happy to push on 2 or, push and make a little money on 2 underdogs every time I did it. Yeah, Stewie Sink has a big lead on Taylor Pendrith, and Jason Day's playing well, which is annoying. Johnny Vegas is not playing well, bad. He's in the top 20 right now, a few shots off the lead. So Eric Van Rooyen as well. So I got a couple of outrights that are getting after it. Nothing to add to that, and probably just do some Alex bets. You got some NBA action for me tonight?
I do. I got some NBA, no tennis, but by the way, if you were able to get some of that Christian, outright yesterday, go ahead, hop in, just buy out of that. She's playing Allison Risk today. That line's right around minus 220, 225. That's right where I have it. You can let it ride if you want. You could buy it out risk-free if you want. I went in, basically hedged all my positions for kind of equal profit either side. Christian might pull off the upset. We'll see, but congratulations to us if those bets are still up. Then it get canceled. If you didn't have a PPH, I think that's the only place it got knocked off. But NBA, these are all tonight. The Thunder, we're going back to the well here with the Thunder, +4. They continue to be a really solid team, covering numbers and actually beating some of the lesser teams in the league. The Sacramento Kings, although have had a hot start to the year here, are going to be missing Tyrese Halliburton. It looks like he was at the last couple games, continues to be out tonight, and he isn't maybe someone that you would normally think of moving the line in a big way, but in this particular matchup and in general, he does make a big difference, especially with the way De'Aaron Fox has struggled to start this year. I have the Kings here as a 1-point favorite, so happy to grab the +4. It looks like there's still some +4.5s out there. May end up taking some money line closer to game time. I'm going to think about that one a little bit more, but Thunder +4 looks pretty good. The Knicks, this is always interesting, Andy, in our NBA chat. We have Knicks census tonight. All of us like the Knicks. They're visiting the Charlotte Hornets. The Hornets have just been an absolute and abject mess here. It's a great matchup for the Knicks, especially without P.J. Washington for the Hornets. New York should be able to kind of do their thing here. There's a possible kind of a funky schedule rest spot here. It's a road game. They have Saturday and Sunday off, but I don't think Thibodeau is going to let this team kind of take tonight off and get out of there. So they're looking forward to the weekend back home in New York. I think that they'll come through, really take care of business against this team and get home and enjoy the next 2 days there. They've got a couple road games.
He's not the defending coach of the year for nothing.
That's right. That's right, folks. Don't you forget. The Phoenix Suns visiting the Memphis Grizzlies. Grizzlies, still one of my favorite teams. As if you watch and follow the show, I've got a bunch of Grizzlies futures that are all looking pretty solid at this point so far. That's the sound of me knocking on wood, folks. Let's not jinx ourselves. But a little bit overrated here against a Suns team that, even without DeAndre Ayton, I think is overall a better roster. The guards they have in general are going to, I think, really be overwhelming here for what Memphis has, struggled to do defensively this year. Grab this. The money line right around even money. It's kind of sliding out. It looks like -1 still a few places, -2. Draw the line at -2. Anything more than that, I think, and it's probably right. I have this right around Suns -4, 4.5 if I tweak some things here. So again, I think the market's just kind of overbought on Memphis at this point. This is a nice spot to scoop up some value on a Suns team that's played very well despite not having their star center. And we love the first quarter. So let's go to a first quarter bet here. The Rockets +2. Don't mind the Rockets full game, honestly, +6, +6.5, but just struggle with a team that hasn't really been great closing out games. I see this as a much better edge and advantage here. So poke around. You should be able to find a Rockets first quarter +2, maybe even a 2.5 if you look hard enough. But anything 2 or better looks pretty solid to me. So 4 NBA wagers this evening.
I'm down. I could use something. I might go see the Wes Anderson movie. Pete from the tennis chat, I think he's going.
Ooh.
And he said that, and I'm like, I'd forgotten. I do want to see that. So that might be maybe I'll bet this NBA and then I'll go see a film. I like that, coming out of a film.
It's
and
a
being
great excuse to go back to a movie theater. That should actually be good. I'm not sure I've ever seen one of his in a full-size theater.
I'm trying to think if I have. I think Grand Budapest I did.
I might have seen that one, yeah.
But yeah, some of the early ones, kind of. And
Zissou.
I'm a sneaky Fantastic Mr. Fox guy too.
Oh, that one's a lot of fun. Life Aquatic would have been fun to see.
It's fun.
The Jaguar Shark.
Yeah, so that might be my Friday night. Bet the NBA, go to the movies, and then come out and see how the bets are doing, or if some of them have cashed or lost already.
As long as you can have the strength to turn off Flash Score.
Oh no, I turn it off in the theater. I like to be surprised when I come out. So,
all
right, with that. If you guys are still hanging out, if you've made it this far, do hit a thumbs up on the way out the door. I would appreciate that. If you had fun this week, hopefully you won a few bets. The NBA didn't do too bad. Golf was doing all right. Tennis was nice. I missed baseball. I was just getting good at baseball.
It's a shame. It'll be back, but it'll back too soon.
I had some decent success in the playoffs somehow, some way. Sorry about the PrizePicks entry. Hollywood Brown easily got his targets and catches. Gesicki was targeted pretty much every other play for Miami for 0 catches. Just couldn't get the ball in his hands. Drove me up a wall. I actually played both those props just outright as well. So ended up going 1-1. The teaser was no bueno. We'll redo the teasers this weekend. And then, good luck to the U.S. men's national football team tonight as we take on El Tri.
Let's do it,
I
baby.
never know which way to say it.
USA.
USA. All right. See you guys.